Now, the topic before us is dissecting the long term implications of current account surpluses and deficits within the balance of payments. We have here formed a table of surplus current account. As you are aware that every country may export certain goods and services and provide the same to the rest of the world, and the said country may also get certain goods and services from the rest of the world. So there is export and import of goods and services between a country and the rest of the world. So we have here taken the hypothetical figures with regard to export and import of goods and services of a country. In the same way, we as a country may have to make some one time transfers so that we may help the other countries who are in need, say due to some natural disaster. On humanitarian ground, we may provide some aid to the rest of the world. In the same way, we may receive aid from the rest of the world. We may also receive, that is, the individual residents of our country may receive gifts from the rest of the world, and in the same way our residents may be paying certain gifts to the rest of the world. So all these are unilateral transfers, that is, either unilateral transfers are received, and there are certain occasions when unilateral transfers are paid. So here we have also taken the hypothetical figures with regard to unilateral transfers made and unilateral transfers received. In the same way, we may be having some investments abroad for which our country, or we may be receiving some income from our investments in the shape of dividend, interest, or such like other payments. In the same way, some foreigners might have invested in our country and they may be getting payments for their investments in the form of dividend, profit, and interest. And we have also taken it on a hypothetical figure. So, this is the surplus current account. Why it is surplus? As you know that in the current account or in the balance of payment account, we have to keep transactions as debit side and as credit side. All the transactions which result into inflow of foreign exchange are recorded on credit side, and all the transactions which result into outflow of foreign exchange are recorded on the debit side. So now what we observe from these figures, that total of exports, what is the total of exports? It is 6,100. This is export. What is import? It is 5,000 plus 200, 5,200 import. So what we observe from these figures, that exports are more than imports. Overall, when we do the total of debit and credit transactions, all these transactions, we observe that as a whole, the country is receiving 8,200 US dollars as inflow of foreign exchange due to all these transactions, export, unilateral transfers, and income. And on the other side, the country is making payments abroad, that is, there is outflow of foreign exchange to the tune of 7,300, that is, current receipts are more than payments. Receipts are more, that is, 8,200 is more than 7,300. So what is the balance? Balance is balance in current account is 8,200 minus 7,300. So 900 is the balance. That is, it is a surplus current account. That is, inflow is more to the tune of 900. So it is a current account balance which is positive. It is a surplus current account. What we observe from this surplus current account? What does it indicate? It indicates that the country is net exporter because exports are more. It is a net exporter. It is a competitive economy because when we do exports, there are other countries in the world also who may be exporting the same goods. Suppose we are exporting rice, there may be also many countries in the world who may be ready or who may be doing the export of rice, but we are able to do this export to the tune of 6,100 or 6,000 if we talk about only rice, because our exports are competitive. We are selling at competitive price in the international market. So what is the net result? That surplus current account indicates that the country is net exporter. The economy is competitive. What other figures it may show? It may show that surplus current account may show that we are receiving more income from investments held abroad than the payments we are making to abroad for their investments held domestically. So now surplus current account indicates that on the whole the country is a net exporter. It is exporting more than it imports. It is a strong and competitive economy. It is receiving more income from abroad, and surplus current account also indicates that the country is a net creditor. How a net creditor? You have seen that here the figures of credit are more and the figures in debit side are less. So what it means? That the country is a net creditor to the rest of the world in terms of its current account transactions. The surplus typically means generally indicates accumulation of foreign currency reserves. When we are receiving more foreign exchange than the foreign exchange which is being paid, foreign exchange received is more as compared to the foreign exchange which is going out. So it means it may generally lead to accumulation of foreign currency reserves which can be used by our country for stabilizing the exchange rate. Stabilizing the exchange rate, investing abroad, and managing debt. It is possible that any specific component of current account may have individual deficits. What it means? But overall credit side is more than debit side. You have seen that here credit side in total is more than debit side, but individual item may be less. Here you can see that although overall the exports are more, overall the exports of goods and services are more than the import as a whole, but here the export of services is less than import. Import is more. Import of services is 200 whereas export of services is 100. So it is quite possible that an individual item in the current account may be in deficit, but overall as a whole credit is more than debit. While a surplus can be seen as a positive indicator, it is not always ideal position. A large and persistent surplus can sometimes lead to deflation, currency appreciation, and hinder domestic economic growth. Now we come to the another point, deficit current account. What it means? It means that we are mm, there is outflow of foreign exchange is more. Outflow of foreign exchange is more, whereas we are receiving less foreign exchange due to export and import, unilateral transfers, and income. In the shape of all these transactions, we are receiving less as compared to what we are giving out. From here, the given figures, you can see that here the credit items are less. Here debit is debit is more than credit. In other words, outflow of foreign exchange is more than inflow of foreign exchange. So what this deficit current account shows? It shows, here we have filled the hypothetical figures so that you may understand what is the meaning of deficit current account. So here, what is the balance in this current account? How it is reflected that it is a deficit current account? Credit minus debit. What happens? Or we can say that receipts minus payments. 6,400 minus 8,200. What is balance? This is balance minus minus 1,800 US dollars. This is the balance. So here the figure is being reflected as minus. It shows deficit current account. Now what this deficit current account shows? This shows that the country is net importer. That is, it is importing more in comparison to its exports. It also shows that the country is a poor or a developing country. It also shows that the country is receiving less income for investments held abroad in comparison to the payments which it has to made abroad for investments held by foreign investors domestically. Now, this deficit current account as a whole also shows that the country is a net debtor. Here you have seen that debit entries are more. So here the deficit current account indicates that the country is a net debtor to the rest of the world in terms of its current account transactions. Now, when there is deficit, that is outflow is more. How it will be met out by the government of the country? So the deficit generally leads to increased reliance on foreign borrowing. So more loans have to be taken from foreigners, and difficulty and there is difficulty in managing external debt burden. It is possible that any specific component of current account may have individual credit, but overall debit is more than credit side. But it means that as a whole imports are more in comparison to exports, or if we go through all the items on the debit side or credit side, as a whole, debit is more than credit as a whole. But there may be some individual items where credit is more. Here you can see that credit is more in respect of services, whereas debit side import of services is less. So as a whole, debit current payments are more in comparison to receipts, but there may be some individual items also, or single item or two items, where there may be credit side more. A large and persistent deficit in current account can sometimes lead to currency depreciation, inflation, continuous rise in external debt, when we have to make more and more payments outside, so that as our imports are more and we have to make payments, our exports are less, so we may have to resort to external debt. It may continuously rise, and a large and persistent deficit in current account may also lead to lower economic growth, as limited resources are available for domestic investment, as no money is left for making investments in infrastructure, education, and technology. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.